So, I mean, I started actually in PR. I always had a love of music. And so I was working with hip hop artists. I love hip hop. And I was working with hip hop artists. And, it took only a few times for people to be late or miss the interview that I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. This is not for me. And so but because I had a love of music and concerts and stuff, so I really started on concerts. And I did everything. I mean, every single thing you can think of with a concert. I mean, I was like getting the towels, the water, and I was just like a sponge trying to absorb it all. I would just go to the shows and I would just sit there. I mean, I still do it today. I was watching Kendrick Lamar last night. I don't know if you saw that show in Paris, but just watching all the lights and watching all the pieces, and I just fell in love with it. So then I just started learning how to do it, and then just started going to certifications, and I was looking at what other successful producers had, and I was like, well, I'm gonna get that too. And so that's really how I became a producer.
Like background or even your earlier years where you felt like this was something that you were attracted to?
You know what? My mom says, from New Orleans, and wrestling was like really big in New Orleans. And my grandparents would take me to the Superdome. And she says that I was always more enamored with like the production and, watching the actual components. That's what she says. I just remember going to, the Superdome. So it was really full circle to be able to produce in the Superdome later.
Look at that.
Yeah. But so I would go as a child all the time and I would watch it. And I never watched much TV. I would just sit and listen to music and read the liner notes, which they don't do anymore. And, just really like immersed myself in music. So I just always had this love of music from a child, but she says I was inspired by that. Now I'll just kind of sit back at events and I really like to like stay in the background and lay low and stuff like that. But I love to see people experiencing what I have put together. And I just did an event a couple weeks ago for Amazon. I did a screening for a show called Riches. So it was like an Afro beats party and screening. And this guy came up to me after and said, I've been to several of your events and I wanted to thank you. And he was like, what I appreciate, it's like, it's done by someone who knows the culture, all the details. And that just made me feel so good because I was like, you get it. Because like I think about all the details. I want you to have an experience from the moment you get there to the moment you leave. That's what keeps me with it.